And I wanted to leave today on the last day with something that I call the greatest gift. When I was in my 20s, I worked on a thoroughbred racehorse farm. And these are where the racehorses are bred and raised. And so they stay there until they're old enough to go to the racetrack. And I was one of the grooms on the farm. There were 3 other grooms, and there was the really cranky barn manager named Mary, and we were all working there that day. And each groom had horses. We had 4 to 6 horses that we took care of ourselves in the stalls, and we groomed them and took them outside for exercise, and took care of them. These horses don't really have the greatest life. Race horses, they love to run, and running is so beautiful when they're in their heart and they're running. But the rest of their life, they're locked up in a cage, basically. And, they're real edgy. They have a lot of excess energy they don't know what to do with. People like to build that up so that they think that they'll run faster, and they pace their stall, and they're not comfortable. They're not happy. And, as a groom, I tried to do as much as I could to give them a better life, but it's not that great. And one day, when we were in the barn, all with our horses, one of the young stallions he was kind of difficult to handle. He got loose from one of the grooms, and he took off out the barn. He's a racehorse, so he runs out the barn, he turns and goes running down the back of the barn. And this farm was set up so they had they had 8 different pastures, rectangular pastures, and all out the back of the barn, and they all had 12-foot wide lanes in between all the pastures. So he was running down a lane. And then all these lanes came to the driveway, which they funneled into the driveway, and the driveway went out to a 4-lane highway. And there was a gate at the end of the driveway, which, like on most farms, was open. Because these gates get too heavy for their hinges, and they're very hard to close, so normally we leave them open. So this horse gets loose, and the cranky barn manager, Mary, screams, "Get that horse!" And Mary and the 3 other grooms take off out the back, chasing the racehorse. I was not going to chase a racehorse. I'm not that fast of a runner. And it just seemed like a stupid thing to do. So Mary turns around, realizes I'm not there, and she turns around and she screams, "You bitch!" And then she takes off after the horse. Wow. I couldn't hardly believe that. But I had bigger problems to deal with, so I would deal with Mary later. So I found a halter, and I went out the front of the barn, and I thought, well, I'll go shut the gate. That's what I'll do. And I start running up to the gate, and then I'm like, you know what? I tried this once before. I'm not strong enough to shut that gate. It's like really stuck, and I'm not going to go there. So I decide I really can't shut the gate. I'm going to have to cut off the horse. So I take off running across the pastures as fast as I can up the lane that he's heading towards so I can get in front of him. And in the meantime, all the other grooms and Mary have realized that they've cut across the pastures too, so they're still chasing the horse. And I get into the lane where he's coming with just enough time left to go, "What the hell are you doing?" People get run over by racehorses, by freaked out horses, and this one's being chased by crazy people. And then I looked up at the 4-lane highway, and I had this vision. And I saw this horse getting smacked by a car, and a little girl go flying through the window. Not on my watch. So I stepped into the lane. And that horse stopped when he was still some distance away from me, dead in his tracks, and lowered his head softly, not in submission, but what felt to me like, perhaps for the first time in his life, he could exist in another's presence. I'll never forget that day and everything I felt. That was an extreme example, but every day, all around us, we have people like the racehorse who are struggling to survive, struggling to exist. They're running in fear. They're running with crazy energy, and they don't know what to do. They're trying to go somewhere or to get away. And every day we have the choice to be like Mary, who was fighting for her life because she was losing hold of who she was in the scenario. When there's pressure around us, we fall away from our true selves. And then we fight or rebel to try, we usually fight to try and grasp some semblance of existing, to get a response. Or you can choose to step more fully into who you are. And when you step fully into who you are, that is not the confiscated word selfishness that people have attached in an evil way. That is the greatest gift that you can give to another. It's how they exist in your presence. Learning to step more into our true selves under pressure when the things of life happen is a lifelong journey. It never ends. You're never done with it. It's something that you're always striving to do a little more each day. But that is where life is. That's where the beauty of life is. That's where beauty comes, where the butterflies come, where the magic happens. It is the greatest gift, the gift of life. So today and every day, when you feel the energy around you rising up, and there are people running like the racehorse, choose the side that brings you to beauty. Thank you.